Okay, so we are going to go ahead and open up Photoshop and have just a quick little tutorial about image size and maybe even searching for high quality images. Actually, let's do that first. A lot of us know this already, but just in case you don't, I'm going to open up Chrome real quick and just open up Google. There we go. And if you're looking for high quality JPEGs, the easiest way is just to do an image search in Google. So say I'm doing a site on maybe let's do like Empire Plaza, Albany, New York. All right. So I'm going to do a thing like maybe on the egg or what was there before. So I'm going to go to images and it's going to give me a lot of options. One of the things for this project that we have coming up is being able to present high quality images in a gallery and also to have thumbnails on the page that relate to those images that get bigger in the gallery. So it's good to start off with a high quality. So you can just scroll through and look at popping up below is like the little pixel ratio that shows up. So like this one here is 160 by 250 pixels. That's a very small JPEG. So if I wanted to present that larger on the screen, there would never really be an option to do that. I'd have to start big and then get small. All right, so one way you can limit your options to just big is in settings, tools, size, and you can go to 2 megapixel. So that 16 by 1200 is relatively large. You could even start bigger. You could go to 4 megapixels, but let's stick with that, and that should be a high enough quality. Okay, so I start having nice options of the Empire Plaza. That's weird looking. So say, I like that one. Okay, I can click on it there, and then right click on it here, and I can say save image as, and I can point it to my week 4. Okay. And I probably even give it a name right now so I actually know what I'm looking at. So I could say Empire. Where am I spelling wrong today? Plaza, say 1. Okay. And then I can hit save. All right. So that would be looking for high quality images on Google. Let's go ahead and we can look at the one that I've provided here, which again is the Beach Boys. So now, if I want to open this in Photoshop, I can open it right from my Files panel, and I can right-click on it, and I can say Open with Photoshop. Now, for your site, you should do all of this Photoshop stuff before, and your images should be in a image folder, organized very neatly, with your large one corresponding to the small one. So I always say to do all of this image stuff before you ever even open up Photoshop, or sorry, Dreamweaver. It'll make your life a lot more easier. Okay. Creating a thumbnail is not something you would do from the properties window. Okay, you know how we can make things smaller in here? This is not the tab that can do that for you. Okay, so don't even try. All right, So right here, I have this image here. Now, an image size, I can look at it and I can see that this is really not formatted for the web at all. Okay, we haven't talked too much about this yet, but now that we're dealing with a large image, kind of creating galleries using lots of images, we want to kind of spend a little time just looking at what this does here, an image size. So one thing we want to do is we want to get it kind of the size we want. And I always say, start bigger with your full scale one, okay? And you can always throw away information later, but you can't really get it back. So I'm going to uncheck resample. Now the resolution here is set to 300. For images that are going to be viewed on the screen, they only need to be 72. So let's go ahead and make that 72. Okay, so now if this were to open up in a window, like a gallery, like the jQuery Lightbox gallery that I showed you with the Batman head and stuff, it's going to be way too big. It's almost 40 inches by 25. Now you can kind of figure like, yeah, screen size, you know, you don't need that. So now I'm going to click resample, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and switch this from inches to pixels. And I'll say, you know what, my width really doesn't need to be any more than, you know, I'll start with, say, 1600. Okay, so these things stay connected. Everything stays proportional. So now it's 16 by 1067. Okay, that's fine. I also see my megabyte size gets smaller. Okay, so my image, my file size gets smaller. So that's good. The images will load quicker. And let's just see, well, how big is that in inches? Okay, it's still kind of big. But yeah, we'll stick with that. Okay, that's fine for now. All right, we might be able to make that smaller later if we don't like it. But I think that's going to be okay. So now, resamples checked, that's 72, bicubic is sharper, good for reduction. That's fine. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to save this as, I'll give it a proper name. So I'll call it like Beach Boys Band, just so I kind of know. 1 as a JPEG. Brings this up, quality 10. You don't really need to crank it up to 12. Say 10 is fine. Baseline standard. That's perfect. Now I'm going to make my smaller one. Okay, my thumbnail. So I could do one of two things. I could hit the crop tool and I could crop it. But since it's all of them, there's like really no good size. You know, there's like no good thumbnail available there. So I'm not going to crop it, but you could use the crop tool and make it smaller. I'm just going to go back to image size, and I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, so I'm going to just change the width to, let's say, 200. Let's see what that is in inches. So it's like going to be like a 3 by 2 almost. That's fine. I'll go with that. You don't want it too small. You want it to be like kind of visible. But let's stick with that for now. Okay. These are just kind of starting points. All right. You're going to see what it's going to look like on the page. And you might have to change these later. Okay. You might have to make an adjustment later. But this is just a starting point. So I'm going to hit OK. All right. So now I'm going to go File, Save As. And for a thumbnail, I like to just do TH. So I know that is the small one. Okay, JPEG is good, and I'm going to hit save. Quality 10, that's perfect, and I hit OK. Okay, so those are the steps you should go through in getting your image ready for the web.